Probably since maybe that you've already, probably started to change, but, my comments are, I would definitely like to see more detail on why there was like a 30% increase on the insurance, the NYMER insurance, 990.4. I think we could possibly, depending, I don't know, I think, depending on what they quoted you on, I think you could probably, agencies are, you'll say it's not 90, you probably save some money there. If you're really looking to save money, you could just not have contingency this year, 990.4, that's not. That's only there for extraneous items, and if, you really need to make, you can always have fund balance if you have it. I would also consider potentially reducing 6989.4, which was grants. Just for mayor, maybe focus on getting your footing. We have 5 open projects right now at least. Pending, we save some money there. And then, but I think there is more savings that could be had. And that is.
Thank you, Karen. Any other feedback or questions? Anything from
a little bit of a reply about insurance.
Sure.
I really appreciate the comment when we met with our insurance person today. It's way overestimated. We were told it's going to be a 12% increase. So it's it's going to come down quite a bit. Thank you for pointing that out.
That's great. That's
All right. I guess I would make a motion to close the public hearing, or does it need to be open for a certain period of time?
Close the public hearing.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. And on to the regular agenda, we have general fund vouchers number 469 through 509 for $47,436.07. A motion to approve payment. I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the second line for water fund voucher numbers 87 through 91, $2,423.59. A motion to pay those vouchers. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have the sewer fund voucher numbers 65 through 71 for $4,977.07. Motion to approve payment.
I'll make a motion to.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have a list of transfers here. Motion to approve these transfers.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we all received the draft of meeting minutes from March 27th and then as well as April 1st, looking for a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
Move that we approve the meeting minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then on to Department of Reports, like then we're gonna do the fire report. Thank you.
Chief Hawkins's report, he's in the Ruba this week. Fire calls were up for the month of April, total of 27 in the district, total mutual aid given was 7. Total hours for the month of April, altogether response training and activities was 618. He is requesting a board resolution to be passed for our annual hose and ladder testing, which we've scheduled for Thursday, the 25th. Quotes for $4,426. And he's also requesting approval to move 14,933 from A 232 to A 3410.2 equipment, finish out the required purchase for the remainder of the year. The money received from the federal grant for our station exhaust system will be put back into A 232 once it's received, once the grant gets closed out. State training stipend, Lieutenant Shooks got paid for completing his Fire Officer 1 class. No updates on any grants, and the Lions Club is having 45th annual Whoopah City Super Derby Days drawing and auction on May 4th, and we participate in that. And the Lions Club gives us a donation usually every year from that.
Nice.
That's all he had.
Any questions for him? Sergeant Danko?
So mine is 2 month. I had a family emergency for last month, so I didn't make the last month's meeting. So it's just gonna be a set of numbers for both months. So for February and March, we had like 34 cases that were reported to the Department of Criminal Justice Services. So for the new board members and mayor, that's basically anything that has a crime associated to it that we report to the Department of Criminal Justice. So we have a total of 24. We have a total of 11 arrests for the month, which puts us at 18 for February and March, which puts us at 18 for the year. We have 211 calls logged with the county dispatch for a total of 330 for the year. Those are calls that we intake from county dispatch or complaints or traffic stops, anything of that nature. That's what those numbers are compiled of. We had one motor vehicle accident, which is good because we usually have a lot, for a total of 3 for the year. And below are our arrests that equal out to that 11 number up top. And we had 44 traffic tickets for a total of 70 for the year. And again, I just wrote on the bottom that I just apologize that I wasn't here for last month, and to congratulate everyone that is newly appointed.
Thank you. Mike's back to you.
DPW. Water projects on the way. And there's a couple weeks so far. The busy summer.
How has the feedback been from residents?
Good.
Jane, how about you?
Did you hear the voicemail we got? That compliment from someone from Abeal Avenue?
Oh, no.
Waxing ecstatic about how neat they were, how organized they are on their machine, which they sent to us. So far, really positive.
An early mile marker on a marathon, but that's the other side.
Right.
I think I've only heard one very minor complaint, and it was just on the parking issue. Major repairs for the month. We investigated a water leak on Abeal Avenue between Vanessa and Abeal, cross rot deal. Spent a late Friday night and most of the day Saturday figuring that out and getting it fixed. Equipment breakdowns, had a flat tire on the tractor, got that fixed. Well, that was last month. It didn't get taken out. And then just the daily routine work got done, and past 3 weeks been busy with progression and bringing that. They want to bring up we sort the planters with Debbie. I've been talking with her, and that's, I think, May. I don't, the exact date, no time to tell.
Depends on the weather, but I think that was early May.
Early, middle May.
There's something in the Halloween weekend.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle of May, the planters are gonna start going out. And then, I know we've talked about this in the past, looking for board approval to spend the reserve monies on equipment to purchase the multi-use tractor from Capital Tractor on the, to replace the sidewalk tractor.
No, we can talk about that.
Yep.
I've been a month and a half, 2 months with, working around getting quotes,
Okay.
trade-in values on the equipment. We can talk about that later.
Is that for winter use? Or do we have use
For
year round?
year-round.
Year round?
Yeah, all three departments, street, water, and sewer can use it. Mainly to replace the 84 below the sidewalk tractor that's,
It's 40 years old.
40 years old.
You know, so, yeah, we just want to move forward with it and just make sure we follow, purchasing policy.
We need a few
We need, you've been working on quotes.
yeah.
quotes, yes.
So we'll make the quotes and make sure that we're, under the threshold for a competitive bid.
Okay, so no resolution for that today, just
Right.
letting us
Yeah,
know.
just to
Yeah.
let you know, and we can talk about it a
Yeah.
little more. That's all I have.
So now, water project will keep you busy. Maria, are you gonna read the youth report?
Yeah, the youth report for March, we had 332 children attend youth. Average daily attendance was 16. The youth center was open 21 days, no new registrations this month. The collaborations with the community for the month. March, library collaboration with Greenwich Youth Center Art Show, March 11 through 29 in the Greenwich Library Community Room. Reception for our youth artists was on March 15th from 4:30 to 5:30. Family and community members came to celebrate our artists. We had clay sculpture with Sherry. And for future events, April, this month is Roundup Month at Abishan, so you can round up your purchases and they will give that to the youth center. Every year they're really very generous with that. Mega Brain with the Council for Prevention. Play sculpture, again with Sherry. We'll have the bike safety rodeo with the library. A Taylor Swift event with the library. Gizmo's Possum Guide to Mental Health with the Council for Prevention, and again, the Safe Sitter Program.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Maria. For my report, obviously onboarding was a big part of my 2 weeks so far. So part of that process, what I've done so far is taking a tour of the fire department, familiarizing myself with the building and meeting with Chief Hopkins to discuss the operation. Also productive lunch meeting with the DPW to discuss infrastructure projects and their involvement in community initiatives like local city festival, tractor parade, and any of the other permits where people are using village space. I attended a NICOM budget training, and then I also plan to attend the new officials training in May. Still obviously more onboarding meetings to happen with the police department, GYC, animal control, just kind of staggering those a few a week as I roll in. And then of course, getting caught up to speed on the grants and all the projects we have going on. For Hayes Reservoir, I'll be walking that area with Jim Allen tomorrow. I've never been to Thunder Mountain, which is shocking, I know. So I will see it tomorrow. Maria is going to join me as well as Mike Smith to review what the scope will entail on their part of the cleanup. So at the end of the project, they were going to come back this spring to do some cleanup. So we're going to meet with him and go through that. DPW will be there just to help, because there might be some more that they're going to assist in. And then I plan to reconvene the Parks and Recreation Committee to get moving on what trails need to be cleared, marked, what rules we might have for that space for the public to be able to enjoy it and get it back open in time for the warmer weather. Mike obviously gave an update on the water project. I just wanted to give a call out that they've been really good, the vendors that we're working with, on delivering letters to residents in advance of any impact on their access to roads or water. And Jane has been great about updating the website and social media on a regular basis, so residents can see what's going to be impacted like up to 2 weeks in advance. So I think that's going well. And then Dunbarton Mill EPA project phase 1 ESA was completed, incorporating the EPA comments, and then we shared it back with them. Phase 2 work plan is nearing completion. The most recent monthly meeting was before I took office, was on March 29th. The Greenwich VOA pre-development, the zoning subcommittee meeting was held to review the updated scope of zoning updates, incorporating stakeholder feedback. On the infrastructure side, a water subcommittee was also held with next step. We'll be circulating a letter to residents in the potential town water district to increase project awareness and also to ask for feedback. For bike and pedestrian connectivity plan, a kickoff meeting was held with Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council. I get a bonus for that. The consultant team, the town, the village, and the next meeting is scheduled for April 25th for anyone interested. This project is a direct result of the comprehensive plan and is going to result in a long-term vision and priority project concept development. So these projects can be converted then into action. Public engagement will happen. It's going to kick off after the next meeting. So after April 25th, we'll engage the public on this and they'll be involved in focusing on which issues and priority development. Wastewater treatment plan continues. Last week, we met to discuss funding options and we have a meeting coming up to discuss project implementation with EFC, Barton and LaJudas and the Department of Environmental Conservation. Eddy Street, there's been a lot of residents' complaints in the 2 weeks that I've been here, and I, from what I understand, it's been ongoing for more than a year. Zoning officer has been actively working. It's transitioned to a new homeowner. The North Shore Animal League is there to get the house cleaned up, and we've confirmed that dumpsters are coming at the end of the week, and actual outdoor cleanup of trash will start on Friday. So I feel like we're making progress there.
Sell the property?
It changed hands, I think, from father to son. Vultures on Cottage Street, so close to my home. A resident complained of the mess they're making. I think you probably all have seen those large birds flying around and they kind of roost in different areas, but they love one tree on Cottage Street specifically. They wanted to know what we could do about encouraging them to go elsewhere. So I spoke to ECO and our animal control officer for the village. Since they're migratory birds, they are protective. The only effort we can do is to remove their food source, which the ECO feels it's either trash, and if it's not trash being left out, it could be people feeding, what's the word? Stray cats, which was interesting. So I've asked the resident to take photos of any potential damage, and then we can escalate it to USDA office in Skodak that could potentially work with us on removal of the vultures. During that conversation, the ECO officer also reminded me that it's bear season and they go for bird feeders and trash cans. So I think from the village standpoint right now, we can put out some messaging on social media reminding people to put away their trash, that bears walk around in a 3-day cycle. So you can't just remove it for one day. It has to be gone for a while because once they get into a bird feeder, it's going to take some time. And then planner project, Mike stole my thunder, and there's no update to converting streetlights to LED fixtures. That will be forthcoming. I think I need a sip of water. So we're going to move on to new business. We have Sarah Murphy here with the library.
And actually, I'm going to turn it over first to Patrice Abbott, our resident of the Board of Trustees of the library.
Thank you for having us tonight. I live in the town of Greenwich, not the village, but I'm here representing the library. We'd like to make you aware of a changing update that we're making for the year 2025, but we wanted to give you an update. First of all, I want to express our gratitude for the generous support that the village has shown us through the years. I think we have a really healthy working relationship with the village of Greenwich, which we hope to see continue. And with your support, we are able to provide a lot of services and opportunities for our residents and people outside of the village. We are going to try to go to single source funding with the library. And by that, I mean, we're going to take the money that we currently get from the town, which is $30,000 as a line item, and the village, which is $14,000, and roll that money into our school ballot or the public vote that you see on the school ballot. We're doing that for a couple of different reasons. We were encouraged by the last administration of the town, as well as the current administration, to stop relying on the town for that money. And we're looking to give voters the opportunity to vote on our entire budget. Right now, if you're a village resident, you see us on the school ballot, you see us on the town budget, and you see us on the village. So village residents really see us 3 times, which is a lot of times. So we're hoping that by doing this, it's going to all be one number, and it's going to be voted on annually. The timing of this is a little bit tricky. You guys have included us in the budget for the coming year for 24-25, which we appreciate. The vote for the school happens in May, and that's where we're going to ask for that $44,000 to be included. We've notified both the town and the village in writing that if that vote is successful, the next budgeting cycle, we would not like to be included anymore. Not to say we're not open to other projects or, one-off projects, but we wouldn't like to be a line item anymore because we won't rely on you for that. We do ask that you continue for 24-25. If the vote is successful this time next year, you will not have to include us anymore. If the vote happens to be voted down, we ask that you continue to include us, and we're gonna go back to the drawing board and try to figure something else out. You did receive that in writing, and I hope that you have that. Again, like, we are so appreciative of everything that the village does for us. We just feel like this is maybe a healthier funding mechanism for us, and that's why we're gonna try it. So you'll see in the school ballot initiative that the number is larger than normal. Typically, we stay under the tax cap, 2.5 to 3%. This year, we're gonna stay at that 2.5 and 3%, plus add the 44,000 that we get from the town and village. That'll be a one-time, larger increase, and then we should go back to normal after that. So again, thank you for your support. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Sarah. Sarah's gonna give you a brief update on, what we've been doing with the current funding.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
So we have you in our budget, and I'm new here, I should start with that, for 14,000. So then if you're passed on the school board vote, then you're getting double.
No.
No, it's a timing question. Do you wanna take it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So we don't get the proposition happens in May, but we don't get that funding until 2025. We haven't received funding in 2024 from the village yet. Presumably we will, but then in 2025, we wouldn't. We're also, our fiscal year is January to December, which also makes things a little tricky, but it ultimately works out.
And the school fiscal year is
June.
June, it's July, June.
But they cut their checks at the end of December, so it goes into our 2025 January.
Okay.
It's a complicated budget cycle because we're dealing with the public budget, the town budget, and the village budget. But it seems like this is the most logical way to do it, to say, we're gonna do it through the school ballot and then stop reliance on the town and village starting in 2025.
What communication or education are you doing to the public so they understand that?
So we've developed a marketing piece. We've also held a meeting at the library to explain it to our staff, volunteers, and anyone in the public that's interested. We have a couple of pieces that will be coming out on social media as well as in the paper. And we're happy to answer any questions. Our actual budget increase, if you take that 44,000 out of the equation, is about $3,000, which is the normal tax cap money. We're just making this one-time adjustment so that we won't be included in the town and village budgets.
Theory, is village resident? Right now I'm paying 3 times.
But you're not really, you're paying, sorry.
Well.
Well, between the village, the town and the county, veterans and senior citizens get a percentile break based on
Right.
income and disability. The school does not give that tax break. If you go through the school, you're paying a max tax on a fixed income for veterans and senior citizens. So that if you're a veteran, you don't get any kind of a tax credit or tax relief through the school system because Greenwich Central School does not allow that. But through the village and the town, veterans and senior citizens can get a tax break. So if you move everything over to the school, veterans and senior citizens on fixed incomes, disabled veterans as well, will be paying more in taxes.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions about the budget?
Not right now. No,
Can I
nothing to think of.
talk
Yes.
to you a little bit about what we do with that budget and that funding? So I did bring copies of our 2023 report to the community, which you can feel free to take a look at. The headline here, we have just under 50,000 items in our collection, and we greeted 36,225 visitors in 2023. That was a 29% increase from the year before. And our items borrowed was about a 13% increase from the year before. But the real headline is that the library hosted 403 individual programs and events, and 7,740 people attended those, which was a 227% increase over the year before. And that doesn't even include the 472 events that were hosted by or convened by individuals in our community and other community groups in our community who used the library space for free. And they hosted 3,626 people throughout 2023. We're very proud of what we've done with a small budget. We're very, very grateful to the village for having been a part of that. And the village has traditionally been a part of library programming and services in more ways than simply financial. For example, many of those 7,740 people who came to library events attended events at Maury Park or other places in the town and community, because that includes outreach. So we do look forward to continuing our strong partnership with the village. And we're happy to continue to answer any questions that you have about the library, about what we're doing, and about our public funding and how we hope to streamline that. Thank you.
Thank you. Great numbers year over year. Sorcery, how you get that all done. Any other questions from the board for Sarah? Okay, next on the list was Restore New York Round 8 grant. It would be in this year's budget. And former Mayor Fuller submitted an LOI. We got approved to apply. So tonight we have Mark here who can speak a little bit to the project. But tonight the board needs to, once we listen and discuss, needs to approve our application, and then also approve to use Labella as the grant writer. The fee is $5,000. I think everyone received the scope and information in advance of the meeting. There is no match for the village. And Mark, correct me, this is 87 Main Street, right?
83, 85, 87.
Oh, 83, 85, 87. And if you're not familiar with that number, it's the building where Idle Knots is currently housed, the fibersmiths? Yes. Do you want to talk a little bit about the project?
Sure. The house, I mean, the building needs some renovations. The Iron Lots are staying. I already talked to them. They're excited to stay. I'd like to upgrade their space. The other commercial space, which was Wicked Wicks, I'm gonna move into. I'm gonna make a photo gallery and a teaching spot. I'm gonna teach photo classes, kids on weekends or whatever. There are 2 apartments upstairs that one needs a little bit of renovation, one needs a complete renovation. There's some roof issues, and the exterior of the building, I'd like to upgrade it, make it very nice. In keeping with Gather and Clutch. It needs new heat. The whole building has very, very old heat and very old lighting.
So new HVAC system.
Yeah. In all 4 spaces.
And if the board does approve to move to application, there does need to be a public hearing before we do apply. So. Does the board have any questions for Mark?
What's the foundation in the basement like?
It's good stone. The foundation is great. The basement is good. It's a tall basement. The building is in really good shape. The roof is not, especially the back roof leaks. And the apartments just really need to be upgraded. All of it does. I mean, it's old fluorescent lights and I don't know, 50-year-old rugs on the floors, things like that. But the basement is in good shape. As I said, the building is very solid.
And your apartments are unoccupied?
Yes. Well, as of this weekend, they'll both be unoccupied.
So it's 2 residential units and then 2 commercial spaces,
Yeah.
plus the roof and the facade of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone have any other questions? No? So I'm looking for a motion to approve the application for Restore New York Round 8.
We'll get more information prior to the public hearing.
What, I mean,
We're gonna have to have a public hearing
yes,
over it.
yes, absolutely.
So we'll have a little more detail to share at that point.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then, if it. We also need a motion to approve Labella as the grant writing service for this.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the application is due May 22nd, so we'll have to. The public hearing? I think so. And then we need to schedule a special meeting for the budget adoption. We were looking at April 23rd or April 24th, if the board's available for one of those days at 7 p.m.
I can do it.
Okay. You can do either. It's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I believe. Jane, is this open on Tuesdays?
It is open both the 23rd and the 24th. The only day we're not is the ZBA meeting on the 29th here.
Maria?
I'm available either day.
All right, we'll make it the 23rd, Tuesday. At 7 p.m. Do I need a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now on to Leo, who served the village for 46 years, 42 of those years as superintendent. So he was here longer than that tractor we're looking to update. And we'd really like, similar to what we did for Chief Buell, is it Chief, right? Chief Deputy? Assistant Chief, okay. And we had the bridge dedication. I thought it would also be nice to have something for Leo. When I met with Corey at the fire department, he had said that dedicating the village DPW building with a sign would be a nice gesture. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on.
I think Leo would be tickled if we named the new wastewater treatment plant.
Mike, do you have any thoughts or? What's that? Kyle's idea? I like humor. So what do we need to do to start that process or move that forward?
Well, unlike the bridge, I don't think we have to ask anybody. I think we can just do
It's
it.
ours.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to look at signage or getting signage and,
And we can build that into the construction contract when we actually build them.
Yeah, we should do that.
okay, do we need a motion to approve this?
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing, you know.
I will move that we dedicate the new wastewater treatment facility to the memory of Mr. Flynn, who did heroics to keep the old one functional.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Old business was Parks and Recreation. I would like to appoint Pam Fuller to the Parks and Recreation Task Force. And I would like the board to approve this. If someone could make a resolution to approving Pam being appointed.
I will move that we ratify the mayor's appointment of former mayor or mayor emeritus to the Parks and Rec Task Force.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, on to permits. We have a lot of permits to review. The first one we have on here is park permit, Library Maori Park, April 20th. I think it's my favorite show, which is Bluey, right?
That's right.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Does anyone have questions for her? Do you want to share like a little feedback on it?
No registration required. This is the second year we've done a Bluey party, for families and people of all ages. We're leaning into the Earth Day celebration, so we'll have, the Baton Hill Conservancy will be there, representatives from 4-H. We'll also have our own worm composting bin, as well as our big bin to collect food scraps from the public. And there'll be book giveaways for the first, I think, 40 kids who arrive, but don't quote me on that. And hopefully it won't rain.
Any questions, Mike? I know these permits tend to fall to DPW then.
We will carry in, carry out. We do no choice.
I believe it.
That happens at 25.
Do we motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Can I second it?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor? Right. And next, there's two. There's park permit Union Village Festival and parade permit Union Village Festival. And I understand it's looking at Mallory Park, that area. There's not actually a parade, right?
No parade, no, that's what we just kind of use the parade permit.
To shut down
To shut down the
streets.
street, that's all it is,
Got it. You're well aware of the process.
yeah. So yeah, the park permit is for both Friday night and Saturday. And then the putting down of just that section of from Main to Washington Square is just for Saturday. Yeah, the block party.
Yeah, I love the
Union
nostalgia
Village.
of the block party and the idea. And Karen, we've talked about this
Yeah.
at length. So is this in place of Whipple City, in addition to Whipple City?
In place of rebranding, in the spirit of that Greenwich was founded as Whipple City.
Mhm.
They turned into Union Village, and the passing of a baton, the ending of organization, and, heading up these tiresome, long journey events. Rebranding to Union Village in the spirit of the history of Greenwich. So the same theme of celebrating the town, the history.
Of the same weekend, traditionally this Father's Day weekend.
So I understand the inspiration, but for the different interpretation, was that feedback you surveyed from residents? Or the groups that have traditionally participated in the Whipple City Festival?
I don't know if that's relevant to the permit process, but
I was just trying to understand, because I talked to Karen about,
I think, I got involved because, Whipple City Days wasn't gonna happen.
Mhm.
So I don't think any of it on Church Street, we're all residents of Church Street. I think that's why I'm here.
And we're used to the street being closed anyway that week. I'll just put my.
Yeah, so we just thought, keep things going in Mallory Park, keep Greenwich vibrant and moving, that we would just take it upon ourselves this year to do a festival, but we're not gonna call it Whipple City because it's been Whipple City and people have done that. So we just thought Union Village because it went from Whipple City to Union Village. And maybe after us, it'll be the Greenwich Village, festival. I don't know, but there's nothing more to it. There's nothing, no survey was done or it's just I got dragged into this by these two wonderful people who have been organizing this. And it's just about, hey, what's gonna go on the 14th and 15th in June in the village of Greenwich? And we thought as Church Street residents, if we're gonna put up with the nonsense of Whipple City, we might as well do it ourselves and do it to ourselves again. And put food trucks on our street and have the community celebrate.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. There's nothing more to it.
well, I understand, that it wasn't part of the permit process to ask those questions. It was just more like, from what I'm told in the community event, that people still wanted to participate in Whipple City Festival, so that's why I was confused as to in place of or in addition to,
Is Whipple City going on? Is there a
they
group?
No.
jumped on it.
not this
So
year.
can I step in now and just,
Sure.
because there are people who don't want it to go away. We had a meeting to ask for some people to steer it. Thank you. I would love for you guys to steer it. I think changing the name is gonna confuse and make it seem like it was something that people didn't want. We had 25 people come together representing organizations saying, we very much want this festival to go on. the chamber, we have a small group, you know that, and doing the tractor parade has become something that, you know, we can't do them both well. So we reached out to the community and we had all these people say, yes, we want this, but nobody said, we'll take it on. So that's where it languished, and it's great that you guys are stepping up. So why would you want to change the name when people want the festival to go on and you're saying you want to organize something? We would love it. So the other conversation was what not-for-profit might, you know, organize it, because Andy, we can't run something under the village, right?
No, you can.
We can?
Yeah, but it's a little late in the game for this year, but it is, it's within the, authority of the village to, to allocate resources for festivals, celebrations, so anything, you know, to promote the, tourism, commerce. So I just looked at it recently because of this, and the village is able to do it.
But we don't have
all the money for it.
Well, if we're putting up money, you know, we have to have contracts with everybody. It's gotta be more carefully planned when the village does it than, for example, when the chamber did it. Cause I ran this for 6 or 7 years. And it's, the planning process is, you know, takes a while. If anybody's done it.
and we don't have the budget, I wouldn't think, for publicity and advertising. From what I can tell.
I'm gonna move that we approve these 2 permits.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So can I ask, you know, with the chamber, they would get the insurance certificates and they have deals with the vendors, and how is that being handled this year?
It's already done. I took care of it.
Okay. All right. Now, there's also an organization listed as Union Village Fest.
Yeah.
What kind of organization is that?
Right now, it's just the title. We're waiting on some paperwork to go through as far as it being a formal LLC, but we've got
Okay.
sustainable communities on board to
Okay.
take care of the other half of it. That's our logistical end of it.
And we go back to why the feeling to change the name when it's something that people, it's been around for 50 years. Like I said, a lot of people don't want that to go away. It does need to be rebranded, but you know, I guess I'm just, you know, there's a lot of people that are willing to help you guys and be involved in it.
Well, just like Whipple City turned into Union Village, you know, we have, you know, a big change of hands. It just seems like, let's just move with like the time of the founding of the village. It seems like it's an appropriate time to take it from, because we were Whipple City for how many years with the mill economy and industry. So, you know, we're seeing a big change, and let's be Union Village Fest and acknowledge the other part of our founding of Greenwich for 30, 40 years. And then if it wants to become the Greenwich Village Fest, then let's take it that direction. But it feels like when you have a changing of hands, that it feels more appropriate to have a change and rebranding.
I don't want this to turn acrimonious. I want to say something before I had no idea these guys were meeting. I'm just trying to, you know, but it moved out of Maui Park for the most part. It did move downtown, you know, Whipple City became the red light to the south, you know, and I don't think there was anything nefarious or anything. It was just a new group, and it was just like, hey, what are we gonna call this? You know, because we didn't want to call it Whipple City because Whipple City has been put on by, you know, the chamber and so on, and it wasn't happening. And it was really, I don't think there's anything deeper to it, you know. I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
I wish you guys the best of luck. I appreciate you coming and speaking to the questions. I'm sure they'll be available to answer other questions. I'm assuming a community event where all are welcome because you have the list of people who are interested. Okay.
And somebody's coordinating with DPW and the police?
That's done.
Okay, good.
We have another permit, an addendum for Carol Hopper to do an additional yoga class on Thursday mornings, indefinitely. It's the same agreement, same terms.
I'll move that.
It's okay with the youth center. They're
Good at the youth center. I need a motion to
I'll
approve.
move that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the comfort food coin drop June 1st, from 8 to 2:30. I know we do this every year. I don't think the permit had the streets on it. Is it?
No, it didn't.
So I don't know if we approve it conditional on getting which streets?
It's said to be determined.
I would say to be, yeah, determined and coordinated with the police. and DPW, but it's mainly a police issue.
I mean, we do it every year, right? That's the boot. Have you guys heard
We
any?
don't really get involved with it, so.
No,
Well, it's on a state road, so. Yeah, it's done every year.
And we're governed by what the state
State,
allows us to
correct.
do. Well,
It's actually weird. Municipalities don't have to follow that state law. I found this out because I used to have people complaining about it in Cambridge because they always did it at the red lights. And very well, like, "Wah." So a guy came in and said, well, the state says you can't do this here. Well,
yeah.
municipalities
Yeah.
can.
Nope.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
All the decisions.
Yeah.
But they allow it. Bottom line is they allow it.
I'm generally not in favor of them.
No, I don't
I
like
tend to agree with the guy who's complaining, but
okay,
it's been happening for me, so.
so I think we need more details on that permit.
When is it?
June 1st,
Okay, so that would be in time for our next meeting.
is that,
We can get
okay?
clarification.
I mean, I see no reason why we wouldn't, but I'd like to know what the streets are and then compare, look at our water project or whatever else is going on. And then we have the parks permit and a parade permit conceivably the same way that Union Fest did it, 2 permits for the Alzheimer's walk. That also didn't have the street names on it.
They're staying on the sidewalk. They're meeting in Maori. I think beginning and ending.
Okay, so it doesn't impact, there's no street closures or anything,
is not.
okay. So motion to approve,
I'll move that.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then we have correspondence for Holly, thank you for coming back in
Thank
for us
you.
newbies.
Thank you. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Holly Harris. I own Windy Hill CBD and Wellness on the corner of Home. Currently, we are in the queue for our cannabis licensing. We are very high to be reviewed. We are number 70. The problem we are having, and we're hoping for support from the board, is that it seems like we have been number 70, which means out of 3,500, we could potentially get a license pretty quickly. However, for some reason, it keeps getting looked over, skipped. So we've emailed the state. I have a regulatory company that I'm working with, and the answer that we get is, you have no deficiencies or no delinquencies, you're still in review. So I've reached out to different legislators. I have an attorney. We're hoping that showing support from the village will show that, you know, that everyone is in favor of this. A lot of you who have never been in my store do not really understand or have seen the vision that I have. I'm looking at cannabis as a complete wellness. So if you've been in Windy Hill, it is a boutique. We are looking to continue that same style. This is not looking to be, you know, bright lights, advertising, smoke shop. It is going to be a wellness facility where someone who enters our store has to be over 21. We are looking to keep it very small. And when people walk in, I want the feeling when anybody comes into our store, as it is now, that you're coming in for a feeling of welcome and knowledge and getting the help that you need through natural wellness products. Currently, we had where it will be going is Windy Hill CBD is in the front. The cannabis will be in the middle section. So you're familiar with what part. We're going to keep cannabis in there. It'll be a very small area where people can come in, get the cannabis, and then we have security will be set up. One person will be able to retrieve the cannabis product. It'll be in a safe, secure location, and then they will exit out the side door. So indoor, they have to be screened and carded, and then they would go out a side door onto the Hill Street side. So we'll have upgraded security. Everything will be monitored. But we're just looking, you know, for you guys to know that we want to be this wellness boutique, so to speak, and bring this to our village. The thing that it's going to help with, it should significantly increase the tax. You know, we're going to get a lot of taxable income from this. And that's what I want to help bring into the village as well. And right now, we're just in this standstill where we were overlooked again and we're getting no answers from the state. We are currently, if you look at a map, there's proximity location protection. Windy Hill has that. So we're high enough in the queue where no other dispensary within a half mile to a mile radius can open. The Greenwich Vape Shop is the closest one. So they also have the same proximity protection. And then the next one would be over in Schuylerville. So we're hoping that, you know, I have letters here that I would like to give you to show who to email, what our license number is, and who to contact as well. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I've been into your store, so if I wanted to go into the cannabis section, you go through the front door.
Go through the front,
And then
everybody's
it's
gonna get carded in the front, so we're changing that, so in order to even enter the store, you have to be over 21.
Even to get like the SOV, the CBD stuff?
Everybody's gonna have to be 21, because I don't wanna risk that, because the goal, the vision is that you're gonna be 21 to come in.
Yep.
And then even to get in the back, I want that added extra layer of security that I don't want them sneaking through, because they're gonna have to be, again, carded when they check out. But I wanna take that fear away from people that, hey, somebody was in your store that was under, 21 years old. I will say 99.9% of the people that come in are over 21. I do not cater to a younger crowd. I would card you if you came in.
Thank you.
But no, I would say most people that come in are over. Cause it does, my store does cater to usually anybody that's, a little bit younger, probably okay, a lot younger than me. And, from like the 20s, mid-20s to 70 to 80. We just don't have that younger crowd.
I have no question.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you expect an increase in traffic?
Yes. And I do. I would hope that would bring in a lot more people to see what our village has, as far as like, if you're coming into, let's say, oh, I want to pick up some stuff at Windy Hill. And, oh, look, there's Livery Cafe. Oh, look, there's this. Oh, look, there's Just Because. Or I have Bubbly Aesthetics next door. Or I have Gather. Or I have Clutch. Or I have anything on Main Street that could possibly pull in that additional revenue. That's the goal. If I get this license, do I anticipate that parking is going to be an issue? Oh, big time. You don't? Well, because right now I can tell you, and no, this is nothing against you. But if people go to Gather, it really becomes an issue when they have something going on that people are parking in front of Windy Hill, so my customers can't come in. The goal is hopefully that people are in and out of mine, within 15 minutes.
I don't think we're gonna see.
But this was something that was brought up, because I also have a store in Glens Falls, was the parking up there as well. Would that be an issue? But mine, I anticipate, 10 or 15 minutes. But I do hope that people would be coming in to spend more money in our village. And that's a huge thing. I'm very sad to see Coffee Inn leaving, but I'm also very happy that I can still get coffee across the street. And then other things like Just Because, and seeing like the cafe and Just Meats, and hopefully bring more commerce and people want to be here. I love what I do, and I love being in the village. It's great.
Any other questions for Holly?
Feel free, ask me anything.
So you're looking for a letter of support from the village
Yeah,
to
it couldn't hurt.
Cannabis Control Board?
Yep.
Do you have any specific language that you think might be?
Something to the
Persuasive?
effect, like, I'll leave this with you, and then I'll send the email to you tomorrow. Just saying that we understand that, Holly Harris from Windy Hill Wellness, and then it's all on here, has applied for her cannabis license, and we want you to know that we're in full support of her. One of the things when I watch the OCM's meetings are you know, all municipality issues or whatever. And I'm watching this and I'm like, I don't have that. You know, I have full support of my municipality. What is your problem? Like, I am one person on this life. This is me. Like, this is a sole woman-owned business who has worked her hiney off to get where she is. And it's like, what's the problem? I just don't get it. It's like, they're just and I figure if I have there's nothing that can hold them back. Like, they can walk in and be like, okay, well, she's got this, this, and this.
I think you need a resolution if you
Yep.
want to do the letter.
A motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve. The letter? The letter.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Before we move on to public comment, Jane and Mike, were we supposed to have an MEO hire on this agenda?
I took it off because you were going to talk about it later and then,
Come out and vote after?
yeah.
Okay. Just checking. Didn't know if it had to be above that, above the poll. So then we'll open to public comment. Yes, Ken.
I want to talk about cannabis and vultures. I want to say. I want to say thank you to Holly and to the board and to you as mayor for supporting her application. I think that'll be a great addition to the village, and it would bring in a lot more people to see this beautiful little village we have, and maybe more commerce. So I think that's great. Thank you for that. That was wonderful. And we need more women-owned businesses. The vultures are wonderful. They roost behind my house. I live at 4 Church Street. They're naturally here. They're not a nuisance. Nobody is feeding them. They do a great service in taking a lot of our roadkill off our roads and other things. They're natural. I mean, if the DEC says otherwise, I would be
No, they're protected.
Yeah, I don't know anybody, it's spooky at times, I realize. But we also have like a witch on all of our letters. So I think it goes with the theme of this place.
I'm just gonna chime in on that, well, no, just because I grew up on 5 Cottage Street for, and they were there for years. They always roosted in the pine trees aren't there anymore, but they always roosted there. And actually we made this huge joke that they were coming for our old cats. I think the cat's name was Spam. And so they were coming from, so they've been there for years. It's not new. They've liked Cottage Street for at least over 30 years. In the
2-acre woodlot.
Yeah, they're right behind. They love
they
that
roosted.
area. And they even come across the Church Street into my yard still. They're beautiful. I mean, for anyone that loves ecology, including silviculture up at Thunder Mountain, this is all. If you like that, you're gonna like the vultures.
And I'll say 2 things. Having worked with Holly for several years, when she says that it's going to be organized, secure, and that it is on point, she's taking care of every detail, she absolutely does. So for anything that her business is going to bring into Greenwich, she's crossed her T's, dotted her I's, and everything is thoroughly taken care of and has been taken into consideration. And I would love to see her business continue to blossom and bloom and to contribute to the rest of our village and our economy here. And to tag in on the vultures, they live in our backwoods, on our property, in our trees. And while we swim and mow the lawn, they're right next to us. They're like waist to shoulder high. They're very nice. They're not a nuisance at all, except for when my 16-year-old makes me think it's a snake and she starts screaming and she doesn't tell me that it's the vulture. And then I get scared thinking there's a snake on the ground. But the vultures, turkey vultures, they are just fantastic back there. And, I guess the only thing that they would leave behind that is a nuisance is massive piles of their waste. That's kind of a pain. Oh, they're big.
Really?
It's like big piles of plaster of Paris.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, they're great. I don't think we have the snakes. I don't think we have the rodents that I'm afraid of. The snakes I'm afraid of. they're great to have around and they are absolutely not a nuisance. They are part of the natural ecosystem. And a part of our village, just like Holly's gonna keep us booming, the turkey vultures keep us booming as well.
I hear you on the turkey vultures. Thank you. Nice to have 3 residents that are also
Right.
impacted by them. Any other public comment?
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Okay. So the Restore New York thing, can we go back? Is that just for yours?
I don't really have to. I was they approached me about it, so I don't.
Cause I don't, like, so if it's just.
I was wondering about that too.
Okay,
Is
so
there other
you-
properties
is
that
there-
could be part of it?
Because I'm in the corner of Hill and Main, so we have a 3rd floor, can't do anything with until we have a sprinkler system. So that's something that, you know, like, we didn't get it in the last, you know, we didn't have enough funding in the last grant because the last grant, and I think pictures were submitted or whatever to show what we did. You know, remodeled the 2nd floor, redid the whole apartment, painted, did everything on the outside, but now we're looking to kind of, how do we get that 3rd floor so we can rent it?
Yep.
One of the holdbacks for me is investing and putting into money and is that 3rd floor. Like, we have to have a sprinkler system on that 3rd floor, there's no question. So I would want to apply to get something to help me get, you know, just get that sprinkler system, so then I can go forward and say, okay, we have that. Now we can get the 3rd floor renovated and then bring in another place for someone to live.
Yep. So for this round, I will talk to you, we'll find out and then talk to you after
Okay.
this meeting, if we can get you into the
Yeah,
round
like-
8. Cause I'm not sure, I mean, I think there's still time
Okay.
to have you tag into it. There's certain
I
stipulations you
know
have to
that you said,
meet.
and when I heard about it, so nobody really, was that it had to be 51% vacant.
Yes,
And I am.
okay, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And then long-term, I mean, I have a lot to learn, but I did want to review with the board moving forward, like when we do grants and who's included and how that process
Yeah.
works. I think long-term that needs to be
Yeah, 'cause currently-
updated.
Yeah, the downstairs is vacant. Right now I'm in part of the front of the upstairs, but the central part of the building is vacant because we're waiting for cannabis. I have the 2nd floor rented and then the 3rd floor is vacant.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Yeah. Hook you up with a dog too. And then I did have, I'm sorry, one more question. Wastewater treatment?
Mhm.
Okay, because that affects me too, you know.
Yep.
Is that gonna increase our money?
Sure is. Eventually.
Increase your what?
What I pay?
It,
I don't know.
in all likelihood,
Yeah.
well,
But can we like look at possibly like, just because I understand the treatment facility is so, you know, old
Mhm.
per se, but there's so few people on it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yes, absolutely, and that was a strategic mistake that was made when it was put in.
I mean, if I could figure out how to get a septic back into 106, I'd be doing that.
Or we try to work on expanding it to serve more and more of the village, so it spreads the costs out.
Yeah, because it gets harder and harder every year when I look at that bill every quarter and I'm like, I mean, and I'd have to say, thank gosh for, if it wasn't for Jane, like, I will tell you, she is top notch when it comes to water, because she called me and said, "You use 44,000 gallons." I'm like, well, was the foot detox, but I don't think she was using that. And it turned out, and she goes, look at these things, and it was a toilet. I would have never caught that toilet on the 1st floor if it wasn't for her, because then I would have just been wasting, you know, it caused the bill to go up like 150. So thank you for that. But the water, the sewer, I just wish there was a way to reduce that cost, because it's impacted by only really Main Street.
It's just so unfortunate to the tax base.
I know, I mean, you and I have had this
I
conversation.
know.
And it pains me every time I look at that, and I'm like. can I
Are the
make this?
upgrades gonna allow for a bigger plug into it?
The upgrades and the way we're building the system is modular, so we could expand the plant and.
It'll have more capacity And like Willie said, it's modular, so it can be expanded.
To serve more.
But then you have to put in more sewer line.
We have to
Right.
put in more sewer line but fortunately, the way much of the sewer, the gravity sewer is laid out, it all drains down to a pump station in Mill Hollow, so we could theoretically sewer a lot of the village on gravity without having to do grinder pumps or that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, don't talk to me about those.
no, we don't,
I have one.
yeah, we don't, like, the school has one too. And, you can see Mike rolling his eyes.
I just wish there was a way, and that's my
Yeah.
point, that if we could find a way to help either fund this or make it so it doesn't cost the residents who are already paying an exorbitant amount of money for the sewer, because we just can't add anybody else to it. You're gonna find out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm with you.
There are no other comments. I think we're gonna adjourn to executive session.
Can I just say one totally different random thing, so people know that Kelly Eustace has taken a full-time job, so he is stepping down as the director of the Chamber of Commerce, so we are putting that as a, a public post to take applications, but just wanted to throw that out to everybody, that we're looking for a part-time director, if anybody knows anybody that looking for a little gig, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
There you go.
Oh,
To executive
Thank
session.
you. Second?
Personnel.
That's personnel. Maria did. All in favor?
Aye.
Director of the. Do you have information for us on the MES?
Yeah, we've got a job posting in the description.